Okay, so a couple things. I'm going to tell you a few things while right before we start. If you are wanting access to the recordings, I've shared this a couple times. If you've heard it, I apologize, but it takes me hours to render and upload the recordings, and I'm teaching 3 or 4 times a week in the EXP world. So if you want access to all of the recordings of all of my classes, you can always come to the live ones, but if you miss one or you're running late or have an appointment, I have set up a Patreon account, and you can become a patron of my page and support what we're doing, and you can gain access to all of the recordings. There's 3 different tiers. You can choose what makes most sense, but there's for $10 a month you can get every video that I ever make. I'm not going to be uploading them on YouTube. I'm only going to be uploading them on Patreon, and so you can gain access. There is also other recordings, and I will be doing some training, generic training videos not specific to EXP on my YouTube channel. I will upload them first on Patreon, so you'll get early access to those, as well as agent interviews on my podcast. You'll get access to that stuff before it goes on the podcast. So if you want to become part of that, want to support what I'm doing, you find value in the teachings and trainings that I provide here, and you want to be able to go back and access those recordings, then the best way for you to do that is to become a patron. And I guess you could just record your screen, but that would not be, I'd ask you not to do that. So anyway, let's dive into this conversation today, and this is going to be interactive. The first part is just going to be me sharing a few things, and then my thoughts behind handling and overcoming objections. Before I start, just want to make sure you guys see it up on the screen.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. I had to hide one thing, so I'm about to pull it back up in full screen mode. So we're going to talk about handling and overcoming objections today, and this is probably one of the biggest areas for agents, especially newer agents or agents who haven't mastered scripts and dialogues. They get scared, and somebody gives them an objection, and they freeze or they lock up, or they think that that person's rejecting them and doesn't want to do business with them. And the reality is, when you get an objection, that's like a buying signal, and it's what they're letting you know is, we just don't have enough information to say yes right now. So we're going to talk about the process of handling and overcoming an objection, and then we're going to talk about how to utilize tie downs, and then we're going to role play. We're going to do a little practicing with each other, and I'll change the room up in just a little bit for us to be able to do that. Most agents are afraid of objections. You can conquer almost any fear if you'll only make up your mind to do so. Remember, fear doesn't exist anywhere except in the mind. That's a great quote by Dale Carnegie. I always tell agents, fear can stand for 2 things: forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. And when it comes to objections, when it comes to scripts and dialogues and what to say, don't be afraid. Instead, be prepared. Practice. Learn the scripts. You don't need tons of scripts. You just need a handful, and you just need to know what are the most common objections that I get. There's not a whole lot. There's only a handful that you're going to get. Here's the biggest. Hi, I'm Jonathan Dupree, and I hope you enjoyed the first few minutes of this video on how to overcome and handle any objection. This video was taken from a live class that I facilitated, where I share the 6 steps to overcome any objection, as well as how to incorporate embedded commands and tie downs into your everyday real estate language. This will allow you to dramatically increase your production and make more money in a faster period of time. So if you want to see the rest of this video, head over to my Patreon page and become a patron and support what I'm doing, so that you'll always gain access to high-level videos with great content helping you grow your real estate business. Visit the link in the description below, or I'll post it here on the screen as well, and head over to my Patreon page to see the rest of this video on handling and overcoming any objection.